Hello and welcome to Strangeplay. I'm Rick.
I'm Elliott.
And you're not Simon.
I'm not Simon.
You're not. Simon's ill this week, so Elliott's come in for the first time in a long time. So we're not doing a news show as normal this week. We went to EGX Rezzed today.
Yeah, we did.
Played some indie games.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd come and talk about the games that we've played, some new ones, some that are already out that we played that we're going to mention anyway. So I'm going to start you off with what you played that stood out to you.
Well, I played a game called...
It's that good, is it?
Yeah, Disco Elysium. Yeah, and it's a detective RPG. It's got a very cool art style. It looks like it's sort of painted almost.
Yeah.
And it's kind of... It's a very like narrative driven game. RPG in the sense of like going around figuring out clues, like picking up things, talking to a lot of people, figuring out the story in that. But it has this interesting, I don't know whether it's a mechanic, because I only got to play it for about like 20 minutes, half an hour or so. But you sort of interact with your own thoughts almost and your own like impulses.
How do you mean?
So your brain box will start talking to you, like, and you get kind of rewarded for completing things based on logic or sort of deception or tricking people, and it uses kind of like a rolling system as well, sort of like Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
But in order to take certain actions during the dialogue. It seems really dark and interesting. That is kind of the one thing that I can take from it. It's interesting and it's pretty unique. It's something that I haven't necessarily seen before. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of games, sort of like L.A. Noire, Murdered Soul Suspect, that kind of, it's that kind of detective style game, but in a sort of almost like a Pillars of Eternity sort of.
So yeah, I was going to say, so like, how does it play? Because I came over while you were playing it.
Yeah, I was kind of like getting involved in it, and you sort of, you click around just to kind of pick up items and stuff like that to interact with people, and yeah, that's kind of all I really saw of it. It's definitely one to watch. It's hard to describe, and even like talking to the people who are around the booth, they were saying that it's a bit difficult to actually like talk about. It's one of those games that you kind of have to play or see someone playing,
yeah,
in order to kind of pick it up.
But does it control like, you know, Baldur's Gate and stuff like?
You just click around,
okay.
and yeah, it's almost like a point and click adventure meets sort of RPG mechanics as well. Okay. I didn't personally see any kind of like combat or anything like that, but I don't think there will be something like that in it. But it's a unique take on that kind of genre and that kind of game. Yeah, definitely one to watch, I think. But the one complaint I did have with it was that in the brief time that I played it, there was an interaction with a certain set of characters, and they threw around the word faggot a lot, which was quite upsetting. Like, it's not, I don't feel as though it's necessary to use that kind of language in games,
because we were talking about this afterwards, and you were like, it was coming from a character who people would assume would talk like that. But do you feel that it was done to like in excess?
Yeah, definitely.
They were, because they knew that that's a word that the character would say, they just put it in as much as possible.
It felt like that. It felt like they used it really carelessly, and like the first time it appeared in the game, I was like, it was quite shocking. Don't really expect to see those kind of words in a video game, because you have a choice when you make a video game whether you include language like that, and to see it then kind of reused over and over again during the dialogue with this character. And I don't know, like, obviously speaking to one of the people at the booth, there are over like 500,000 words of dialogue written for this game. So whether this is a minor thing in the grand scheme of it or not, I don't really know. But considering it came so early and so kind of brazenly, it struck me as it being in very poor taste. Yeah. So it's different to in like the GTA games when you've got characters dropping the N-word. Yeah, well, because GTA is kind of like it's a satire, and although it doesn't really succeed in a lot of places in being satirical, you enter into that game knowing that that's what it is. And I'm not making excuses for GTA, but that's the way they present it. They present it as like you're supposed to be laughing at the person who's saying that, whereas this is more like it seems more earnest, even though there is kind of a comedy angle to it. But it's kind of uncomfortable. But yeah, it was jarring seeing it. Yeah. Jarring is kind of the word that I would use. Like, I can imagine once or twice you'd be like, okay, I get it, this is what the character does, but the repeated stuff. Yeah, exactly. So what was that one called again? Disco Elysium. Disco Elysium, one to look out for. Yeah, definitely. What about you? What was something interesting that you saw?
Well, the main one for me was I was on a mission from the moment I stepped through the door. I was like, I need to play Catastronauts.
Yes.
And I did twice, and I'm so glad I did.
Yeah.
So Elena and I are big fans of a game called Overcooked. She more than me, like she plays it all the time, and I refuse to play it with her now because she's just that good. Like, it just wouldn't be fun for me now just to get absolutely creamed. And I saw the trailer for this, and I was like, wow, this looks a hell of a lot like Overcooked. And I actually thought that it was by Ghost Town, like the guys who did Overcooked.
Yeah, I mean, it looks so much like Overcooked that it looks like another game by the same developers.
Yeah, and it's not.
Yeah.
But it is a complete love letter to it. And basically, it's like a cross between FTL, Faster Than Light, and Overcooked. So you're on a ship, and there's 4 people, so it's 4-player co-op.
Yeah.
And you're on a ship, and your ship is being attacked by another ship. And you basically need to maintain and manage the ship and fire back. So you need to fire guns when they've been charged. You need to put out fires when you've been hit enough. You need to repair cracks and broken guns and things like that. And you need to work together as a team in order to keep the ship in one piece, keep everyone alive, and defeat the enemy.
Yeah.
And that was a hell of a lot of fun. Like, I'm so glad that it was as much fun to play as it looked in the trailer.
Yes.
And I'm so glad. Like, that's coming out late this year, and I cannot wait for that. Like, we
played it together, and it was a hell of a lot of fun playing it through. A very hectic, very chaotic, and it seemed very well balanced as well in just the few short levels that we played.
Yeah, it did feel like it had been turned down a little bit.
Difficulty-wise,
just for the sake of the demo.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and the person demoing it to us kind of said as much as well. She sort of alluded to it getting much harder in like the campaign and in later levels and such.
Yeah.
But it was real nice to get a sense of how it's going to play as a game, and it is a lot of fun. Definitely want to get like a load of people around. Just
prepare to lose friends.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Because the whole teamwork aspect, it's the same with Overcooked. Like, you're working together.
You will be shouting at each other.
And you'll be shouting at Elena's going to be a fucking nightmare with it, because as soon as we play it, she's going to be like, right, I'm in charge, do this. And I'm like, but I'm the one that likes spaceships.
Like, there's one level that we played today where there's obviously a very easy way of getting around the problem of having to, of like everyone wanting to be all over the place at the same time, and it's to have one person in, like maybe a couple people in the back taking care of things, and a couple people up front taking care of things. I think it's the one with the bombs.
Yeah.
And there's a limited number of resources that you have, and it would have made sense if we had a fire extinguisher and a repair kit, one set in the back and one set in the front. But people kept taking the one from the back, putting it in the front, and then like we would end up with fires in the back and repairs needing in the back, and the repair kits and the extinguishers are all the way on the other side of the ship. And yeah.
It's stressful, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun, but hectic, stressful, intense.
But I can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah.
So what's next on your list of games that you played and enjoyed?
Can we talk about Nippon Marathon?
If we must.
Yeah, we must talk about this game.
What the fuck was that?
Nippon Marathon, if you haven't seen any trailers or heard anything about it, it is a Japanese game show in a video game. So you assume the role of one of 4 characters.
Yeah, that we played.
Yeah.
Wonderful playable characters for this anyway.
And then you go on to like a kind of like a marathon race stage, and it plays very much sort of like the old Micro Machines games where the first player to get like furthest ahead wins a point. And there are power-ups that you can collect as well and throw those around to like fuck with your enemies, or your opponents, not enemies really. But it is just absolutely bananas, isn't it? It's just
like Takeshi's Castle foot race.
Yeah.
But it's like physics-based as well.
Yeah, the characters are very ragdolly.
Yeah.
And they control pretty nicely, but like there's obviously some kind of intentional fuckery going on there.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think what I found as well is when we were playing it is it's very early in development still, I think, because it was buggy as hell.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of games like Goat Simulator and stuff where they're like, because it's physics based and like you said, they're very ragdolly, are some of those bugs left in because haha, look at it, or is it just because it was an early build? But yeah, I'm hoping that things get fixed because it does look like it'd be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, hell of a lot of fun.
But it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I had fun with it. I won a point. That was nice.
It took you a little while to get into it. I had the advantage of having played this on the Friday before, and like once you've played through one match of it, you sort of you understand it very easily. But getting like when we initially played it the first time, it was like, what's going on now? Okay, I run and then I press buttons and do what, and I can hold two things and eat them, and there's like, a lot of
things like that for me weren't very responsive. Like I kept mashing a button to eat something and they wouldn't do it, and you got to get your timings and stuff right with the jumps and things. But that, I think that's all part of the game. Like you said, it's all fuckeries. But I'm not a big fan of games like that. But I could tell that you were just loving it.
It's one of those games like kind of Catastronauts. Catastronauts is not really going to be a game that I would play by myself and maybe do the single play, like the campaign for it. But definitely, like if I have people over, it would come out because it's one of those kind of games. And this is the same with like Nippon Marathon as well.
Yeah,
it's not a game that I would play regularly, but it would be a nice game to have in the library.
Yeah, just to pull out when you're drunk.
Yeah, and kind of continuing on from that on physics-based games. What about Gang Beasts?
Oh, I did not enjoy Gang Beasts.
I know you didn't enjoy that. Not even a little bit, I don't think.
But like on the way there, we were talking about it, and your girlfriend was like, "Oh, why don't you like it?" I was like, "It's not for me."
Yeah.
Like physics-based games, I can't get on with them. I don't find them fun. And then, all day she was like, "Oh, you've got to play it." And at the end of the day, we went and played it, and it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
At all. Like I could tell you guys were loving it.
Oh yeah. I think it's a lot of fun. But yeah, it was the first. Like this weekend was the first time I'd really seen it. I think I'd heard the name drops a few times, but never really looked into it.
No, same.
And yeah, like it's another physics-based kind of ragdolly game which uses kind of centrifugal force to move the characters back and forth, and it's just a brawler basically. And you grapple with people. It's the closest thing to most kind of like late night drunken pub brawls that you'll experience.
It's a very real fight.
Yeah, it is very real.
The first move I did, I just ran up to someone, was just nutted them.
Yeah, you kind of you swing your limbs around, and you kind of you grab onto people, and you're spinning around in circles and stuff. And anyone who's like seen it online would, like, as I understand it, it's a pretty popular game.
Yeah, it's like if Jelly Babies got drunk and had a fight.
Exactly, yeah. But I enjoyed that a lot as well. A lot of party games.
Yeah.
This year, it seemed.
It wasn't just party games though, because there was some really good co-op adventure games. Yeah. On offer. Now the first one that I'm really excited about is Swords of Ditto.
Swords of Ditto looks like a lot of fun. I didn't get to play it, but I watched several people over the weekend play through it.
Yeah, I got to play it.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Yeah.
I spoke about it on the channel before. It was on one of the podcasts where me and Simon are talking about game ideas. And the idea is great. It's a roguelike, but it's a top-down adventure like the early Zelda games.
Yeah.
And you're in this world and you've got to defeat the villain. And the villain appears in 5 game days. So you've got 5 days until the villain appears. You can fight the villain. You're not going to win. But when you die, 100 years moves forward. And then a new chosen one appears.
Yeah.
And then they have to go and get the sword from the grave of the old character that you were playing as a moment ago. And then try and continue on the adventure, leveling up. And then eventually you'll be able to fight the villain. The world changes a little bit because it's every 100 years. And with it being a roguelike, the world is procedurally generated.
Yeah.
So it's a different experience each time.
Yeah.
The characters that you play as are randomly generated as well.
Okay.
So when you start, it's not a case of picking what your character looks like. It's you're playing as a boy with a robot head for this one. You get so far, and it's like you're playing as a girl with brown skin and blonde hair.
Yeah.
For the next one, and then the next one you're playing as a boy with freckles and a hat, and it's just constant. So with it being co-op as well, there's going to be no fallout with I want to be. That's the character I want to be. It's like everyone just gets to play someone. It feels great. Like it looks lovely.
Oh yeah, it looks really, really nice.
Yeah, it's tough in the same way that the old Zelda games were tough.
Yeah.
Because the other year when I went back and played Link to the Past, fucking hell, like that game is hard.
Yeah.
And this is the same. Like you eat food to get your health back, and it's just cartoony and lovely. And I've been super hyped for it for ages.
The style of it is great. It looks fantastic.
Now it's like a week away.
Yeah.
So I'm finally gonna get to play that. And the next one as well that I'm really excited about playing through with you is Knights and Bikes.
Knights and Bikes is fantastic.
Yeah, like I had a lot of fun with that. So I've been following Knights and Bikes since it was on Kickstarter, and because you remember when I sent you the video?
Yeah.
Like, well, I sent you the Kickstarter. I was like, check out this game. Like, this looks really good. And then I kind of lost what it was doing for a little while, and then when I saw it today, I found out that it had been picked up by Double Fine.
Yep.
So now it's Double Fine Presents.
Yep.
So they're publishing it now, and it's the most perfect game for Double Fine to do, because it's very, not stylistically, but I suppose like conceptually very Costume Quest. In that it's about two friends who are in the real world, but it's the imaginations of children.
Yeah.
So
it's every kind of little adventure you went on as a small group of kids when you were younger, like just playing pretend.
So like in the demo that we played, they were going to a scrapyard.
Yeah. They were storming a castle.
Yeah. In their imaginations, they were storming a castle. And the way it's done, it's so nice. So you've got the environment, which is how it really is, but then in like chalk line drawings over the environments, you see what they're imagining. So you'll see the fence for the castle as it is, but it'll have like a chalk line drawing of like a castle battlements and stuff, and it really helps just sort of bring the world to life through these children's eyes.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like, I'm so excited. I'm so happy that they've had it picked up by Double Fine, because they are the most perfect people to publish this game.
Absolutely.
And it's only two people making it.
Yeah, an artist and a developer.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And it plays lovely. It looks lovely, and it feels like it has so much heart as well. And the way that they interact, the dialogue, it feels very natural, and like it captures that spirit of being a child. Yeah. Like it took me back to when we were kids and we played dumb games.
It's just the little things as well, like healing each other by giving each other a high five and stuff like that. Like, it's really, really sweet, really, really cool.
And you've got a goose with you.
Yeah.
And you can give the goose some fuss.
Yeah.
And
there was a point when you were in the wizard's tower, the magnetic crane, where I think the first thing you dropped made a loud noise and it scared the goose.
Really?
Yeah. And like there was a little bit of text at the bottom saying that like the birds don't like that, and you had to soothe the goose. Soothe the goose. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, very cool game, very cool idea, and I'm really looking forward to actually playing through it.
Yeah, that's out late this year as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
The end of this year is going to be super expensive.
Yeah.
So what else did you play?
So Alexis and I, my girlfriend and I, played Adventure Pals.
See, I'm really interested in this one.
Yeah, Adventure Pals is out now, and it is... I'd heard about it through her because like some of her friends are making it, or one of her friends was involved in making it. And it's like an action platformer game, and you can play that co-op as well with two people, and you get a giraffe as a pet
in your bag,
which sort of helps you to navigate this world by flying with its tongue, and you go around and defeat monsters and collect coins and get power-ups and stuff like that. And the presentation of it is really, really cool. It's got a bit of like a Castle Crashers vibe to it, and yeah, just a hell of a lot of fun to play. We got to play a brief demo of it, but when we saw it on Friday because we specifically hunted it out, and as soon as I saw it and we realised it was out, I went on my phone and bought it.
Bought it immediately.
I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I think we're going to be doing that tomorrow night.
Yeah,
spending a few hours in that.
I get very Adventure Time vibes from it.
Yes, yeah.
I'm looking at it going, this could have been a licensed game.
Yes.
But they didn't get the license.
Yeah.
So we'll change these two characters, and there we go.
Yeah, I mean, you get that kind of vibe from it. It has like
that's not a bad thing.
No, not at all. It has like an overworld map as well, and you can traverse that and go into different areas and do the levels in there. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, I want to pick it up.
Yeah, it's nice to see a lot more kind of couch co-op going on these days as well.
Yes.
It's something that's been sorely lacking in the recent generations of consoles, I think.
But I think the reason that it's happened like now is because a lot of these games, because they're indie games, like these are indie games.
Yeah.
And you've got the people who were sat at home when they were teenagers, like we were, going, "Oh, I wish I could play this game with my friend. I wish we could play it together." And You know,
And it's
now
not like...
now they're adults and they're making games themselves.
Yeah.
They're like, this is going to have couch co-op.
Yeah.
This is going to be that.
There was definitely a point in time when multiplayer became all about playing online, and rather than just like playing with your friends. And I think that you're right about like the current generation of developers are those kids who grew up through that time where couch co-op became less of a thing, and now they're bringing it back in because they want to play that. They like people want to play that way. And
the thing with these games as well is like a lot of them have a very retro aesthetic.
Yeah,
like you look at them and it looks like something from the 16-bit era, albeit with improved visuals.
Yeah.
A lot of those games, because there wasn't internet for consoles. I mean, there was, if you want to get technical. Like the SNES had a fucking word for getting on internet box.
A modem.
That's the one.
Did the SNES have a modem?
Yeah.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, there was
I do remember playing Toy Soldiers.
There was a kind of Zelda sequel spin-off, Link to the Past, where there was I think it was like Nintendo Channel or something like that, and you could download it episodically, and play as a boy or a girl and do the Zelda map, but with different characters that come out. Yeah, so it's like very early download gaming. Once that went, the game disappeared. But people have managed to source it and find like ROMs for it and get it out there as like a ROM.
I remember the first time I played like a multiplayer game online was on my Dreamcast, I think.
Yeah. Phantasy Star and things like that. It's going back to that old school gaming, and we grew up with Mega Drives and Super Nintendos, and we grew up playing 2-player games on the couch with our friends. So again, the generation who are making the games now who are our age are going back to the stuff that they grew up with and bringing it back, and there's just like the retro revival's been going on for a while, but it feels like the quality over the last year or two is just really like the bar's been moved, and
the bar has been raised in some aspects, but this is something else that we were talking about in that like the barrier for entry for making games has been lowered dramatically over the last like 5-10 years or so. Like before, if you wanted to make a game, it would see the light of day to you and a few of your friends, but now like with the internet and with the tools that are available, and in the past as well, it was always much harder to make a game as well. You'd talk to people who used to make games on their old consoles and things, like you had to have proper specific dev kits for it, and like you could only get them if you were willing to pay thousands and thousands of pounds to the manufacturers of them, like Sony and Microsoft, Nintendo, Sega, or whatever. But these days you can publish for all platforms in just Unity or like the Unreal Engine, and with an engine like Unity as well, you don't even really need to know coding to put out a simple game. As long as you can understand the interface from a technical perspective, you can download everything from the asset store and put together a game and put it out. And
asset flipping, amazing, isn't it?
I mean,
fucking asset flips.
Anyway, so what other games did we play?
Shoe on the Switch.
Shoe was a nice little game.
I don't know if I liked it or not.
It reminded me a lot of Rayman Legends.
A little bit Knuckles Chaotix. A little bit, yeah. Yeah, it was very, very floaty. Yeah. And I kind of unresponsive, and I know that's intentional, but I like platformers to be very snappy. Yeah, which is strange as well because it kind of positions itself as one of those like precision platformers. Yeah, well, like there was a competition at the booth for time trial. Yeah, and you'd think for that it'd be very like precision based and stuff, but you know, you take your thumb off the jump button and you don't drop instantly. So, but it was cute. Yeah, you know, it was nice. Yeah, I don't think it would be something that I pick up, but it looked real pretty. Yeah. Now, talking of snappy platformers, Iconoclasts. I played, and I loved it. Yeah. But you, not so much. Yeah, not so much. I don't know. I didn't really get what it was trying to do. Because Iconoclasts is like a Metroidvania, side-scrolling puzzle platformer, shoot your gun, blah, blah, blah. It's Metroid, you know, it's that style. The thing is, and this is the problem that you had with it, at least the main, like, first level was like 50% tutorial. Yes. So it was very stop-start, and it was the reason that those rooms were just pull this one, go through the door, pull this one, go through the door, because it was the tutorial. Yeah. After you give up, it opens up a little bit more. Yeah. And it becomes about adventuring around, and it's still opening doors with your ratchet, but it became much more about exploration and problem solving. Yeah. And then after that one finishes, there was a second level on display that showed a different power that you have. You can charge like a electric in your thing, and it activates electric things around you and stuff like that. And that was cool. And then there was a boss on show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I really wish you would have stuck with it. But,
yeah, I mean, maybe I'll have to give it another chance, but like it didn't grab me immediately, and that was one of the things that I noticed about a lot of the games I did play, was that they hooked me almost immediately. Like as soon as I sat down and had it in my hands, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is what it's doing. This is the game it is.
Yeah.
But Iconoclast, I think when you're at a show like Rezzed and people only do have like a very limited amount of time, especially during the busier days, to play your game, then you need to hook them in almost immediately. Like think about when we played Catastronauts.
Yeah.
You immediately knew what was going on, and you immediately knew how to play the game, and you immediately knew the objectives. Iconoclast is just sort of like, here's a demo of a retro-looking platformer.
Yeah, like I'm interested for the full game. I'm not sure if it's out now or if it's coming out very soon, but I'll be picking it up.
Yeah.
Because I just love Metroidvania games.
Yeah.
So I'm getting that one. I played Dead Cells as well.
Yes.
Finally. I wanted to play that for a while. It's been on Steam Greenlight for the longest time, but I'm not much of a PC gamer, but it was there, so I finally got to play it, and that was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was absolutely delightful. Yeah, another Metroidvania style roguelike. People compare it to Dark Souls because of course they do, because that's the benchmark for hard games now. But it's just good, like really snappy combat. You know, it felt nice. Responsive character. So, you know, you're attacking something. If you roll, it rolls when you want it to roll. So dodging enemies felt good. It's really satisfying taking things out. Really quick pace.
Yeah.
Really quick pace, like really good adventure. And I know it's coming to the Switch. I just really, really want it to come to the PS4.
Yeah.
I can see why it's so popular and why so many people who have played it on Greenlight have sort of given it all this approval and all this praise, because it really, really is cool. And I think that's going to do really well on consoles.
Good.
So is there anything else that you played?
No, I don't think there was anything else that I specifically played, because I didn't play a lot of games on the Friday. When I was there on the Friday, I was at sessions and stuff, and that's another thing that's so great about expos like this, is just going to sessions and hearing how people do things, especially if you're interested in sort of making a career in games or getting into making them and stuff.
So what sessions did you go to?
So I went to one about building like AI in games and future uses of AI in games, and they actually had a demo of the system that this guy was talking about, and I can't remember what its name is. I think it's Annabelle or something like that. I can't recall what it is exactly, but it is an AI that makes games.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and it does so by like teaching itself things of the internet and allowing itself to be taught by other people. I mean, the guy who made it, name escapes me because I didn't take notes of this thing, and I certainly wouldn't have them with me now.
You'd be a shit journalist.
I would be a shit journalist, yeah. But he gets approval on what eventually goes into this AI. So it's not like when Microsoft released that AI on Twitter and it became racist and anti-Semitic within like 48 hours or whatever it was. It's a really, really interesting project, and like some of the games have been like you can play them. I'll have to tell you what it is, and you can put a link in the description or something.
Yeah, please do.
But yeah, like some really, really interesting stuff. And then I was at another one about building communities using Discord as a way, like, because what tends to happen, this is what Guy was saying in this talk, was that what tends to happen is that when you're making a game, you release a trailer and you might get like 250,000, 500,000 views on that. And then like a lot of people saying that it's very, really, really cool and everything. But then where do they go from that? Like what happens after that? Like, so they see your trailer and then they just expect you to remember your game for the next like 18 months or something.
Yeah.
When there's so much coming out. So how he's done it is by creating communities in Discord. And not just like setting up a Discord channel and like saying, hey, you can come here and talk about it, but like actually turning the Discord channel into kind of games themselves and giving back something to the people who you want to be interested in your community.
Okay.
And there was a game actually in the Idea Xbox booth called like Downhill or something. It's like a procedural downhill mountain biking game.
Okay.
And he's working with those guys, and he has already built up like a community of around like 6,000-7,000 people just in this Discord channel.
Nice.
These are people who are ready and waiting to buy the game. And he gave an example of like when it was actually released on Steam, they released it 20 minutes early, and gave that link to the people in the Discord channel. But the idea was that when it was released, it would have like a 10-20% discount on it or something. But because the actual release time was 20 minutes later, the discount didn't apply until 20 minutes later. But what ended up happening was they released the link, and he actually said, he went into the channel and said, look, don't buy it yet, guys, because if you wait 20 minutes, you'll get your discount. But everyone in the channel just like went and bought it because they wanted the game already. Like they'd built up this community who were like rapidly awaiting this game. So yeah, like you can pick up so many like interesting things about topics that aren't necessarily, that people don't necessarily think are associated with making a game, especially like kind of an indie level. Like one of the things that happens to a lot of indie games is that they get lost in this fog of people because developers don't really think about marketing, for instance. And marketing a game is just as difficult as making a game, arguably more so in some ways, because you do have to go out and talk to people and like interact with people and get them to play your game and get them interested in it. And whilst you think you have the best idea in the world, not everyone else is going to think that. And especially with, as we were saying, like how easy it is to make games these days, and how many people are doing it and how popular it is as a medium to create and express yourself, being able to get it out there and get people to look at it is another thing entirely. So yeah, don't discount the sessions as well. The last one we were at was about kind of alternative controllers, and it wasn't exactly what we thought it was. So
apart from that, pretty great week.
Yeah, and on Saturday there was another session as well. Like all of the Rezzed sessions will eventually be available on YouTube, but not for like another couple of weeks or so while they like render them and edit them and stuff like that. But there was one on Saturday that we missed because we didn't go to the Saturday one, but it was like a Q&A session with the people who made Night in the Woods, which is a really, really fantastic like adventure game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that and like seeing what they said, because that game's lovely.
I really want to play it.
Yeah,
I haven't played it yet.
It feels very personal.
So that's our highlights from Rezzed 2018.
Yeah,
give those games a look when they come out. Show the developers and publishers some love.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't even cover the amount of games that we actually saw at the show as well. Like games like Below were there. What was that? Was that Reaper
Flipping Death
game? That looks like a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, I really wanted to play that.
It's like the Idea Xbox area was just like a treasure trove of nice, lovely looking indie titles, really. Yeah,
like there was so many there, and so many that we didn't have time to play.
Yeah,
and I wish we had more time, to be honest. But I do think that the ones that we picked out and queued for and actually spent some time with, I'm really glad that we did.
Yeah,
because these are the ones that I've been, especially Catastronauts. It's something that I've been very much looking forward to.
Yep.
So keep an eye out for all of these coming out later this year, if they're not already out yet, because like some of them are.
Yeah, great games.
But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Simon will be back to the news show as normal, but hopefully Elliott will be back for some...
I might be around a bit as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that we've figured out this nonsense.
Yeah. Fireside chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually have a video of a log fire on the TV.
It's very cozy, and I'm not sure whether it's just because it's warm in the flat or whether I'm getting some kind of like psychosomatic response from this fire, but I'm feeling pretty toasty now. So
I think it's because you sat next to the radiator.
Oh, that might be it as well.
Yeah, the radiator's next to the thing.
Yeah.
But so thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.